All right, thank you for joining Square 2 Marketing's monthly webinar. Before we get started, since there are still people joining, I just wanted to mention a few things. Everyone's muted upon entry for your convenience, so we don't have a lot of background noise. If you have a question, feel free to use the chat feature above in the little green bar. We will have a Q&A at the end, but if you have a question throughout you'd like me to address, feel free to do so. If you're interested in receiving a recording of this webinar, we are going to record this, and I'm happy to send it to you afterwards. And lastly, if you're having any trouble with anything, you can email Danielle at dcolombo@square2marketing.com, and she'll help you out with anything you're having an issue with. Okay, let's get started. So today we're talking about how to dominate social media this year, the secret to bringing in leads. I'm Laura Marino, the marketing manager at Square 2 Marketing, and I'm happy to share with you all of our agency best practices, as well as taking a look at some of the other brands out there that have been using social media in an awesome way. So today we're going to talk about brands that are following the best practices, the best sites to focus your efforts on this year, and if paid advertising is right for you. And basically it's all balled up into a strategy, because that's really the first point, checkpoint we need to make when we're talking about social media. So today there are over 284 million monthly active users on Twitter, 300 million Instagram users, and 1.35 billion Facebook users. So how do you stand out? In 2014, there was still a massive disconnect between brands and consumers due to a misuse of social media as a communication tool at the brand level and misunderstanding who the customer actually is. This will be the year brands wake up to the reality that social media is a relationship builder and a two-way street, not a one-way street. They will embrace the conversation, knowing that in order to establish a meaningful connection, you have to break down that social media silo we've all created for ourselves. Brands are also going to recognize this year that the continued humanization of the brand is essential. However, I still hear brands speaking to consumers rather than with them, talking at them, hard selling, instead of listening to what their problems are. So now we're shifting to telling a story, not simply just pushing out a message. So first, let's take a look at a couple of brands that did it right. So I'm sure we've all heard of the Share a Coke campaign. This was first launched in Australia, and it allowed you to personalize your bottle of Coke. The campaign went viral on social media and has helped Coke see a rise in sales for the first time in over a decade. We can see here that there were more than 125,000 social posts about the campaign, helping their sales rise 2.5%. BarkBox, which is an e-commerce subscription company catered to people who love dogs and want their dogs to have the best products, they utilized Facebook advertising to win and retain customers, increasing their subscriber base from about 55,000 to 130,000 in a very short amount of time. What do these brands have in common? They've kept their campaigns prospect-focused and put the control in the hands of their savvy buyers. By allowing you to put your name on a bottle of Coke, I mean, come on, what's more personal than your name? And for BarkBox, by allowing you to not only subscribe to receive the best products for your dog, but to join an entire community of people just like you. So they really turned the coin here and made things about their prospects, about their customers, instead of about their brands themselves. So what sites should you focus on this year? The first step in deciding what social sites to focus on this year is to outline your goals and strategy to get there. Take a look at the social sites you already have. How are you using them to their full potential? Are you updating your followers regularly? How are you measuring success? If you don't have these things defined, it's time to make a plan and get started. And you've made a good choice by coming here today. So today we're going to walk through Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and go over the best practices and how you should be implementing them for 2015. Okay, Facebook first. So everyone knows they need a Facebook account. If you don't have one, you really should create one. But if you're not sure what to post, we have to first back up and answer a few questions. 1, what is the goal of your Facebook page? 2, who are you attracting? And 3, how often do you plan to post? So at Square 2 Marketing, we realized that when people are filling out applications to apply for a position at our agency, they first check out our Facebook page. And once we were able to make the connection between people who came to our Facebook page and people who applied for positions, we decided to make a little strategy shift and start showing a slice of life and company culture on our Facebook page. So if you check out Square 2 Marketing's Facebook page, you'll see us celebrating birthdays, us bringing our dogs into the office, us having a fun happy hour on a Friday evening, all things that show who we are on the, inside the agency. So I would recommend, if you're looking at your Facebook page saying, what are we supposed to do here? What should our strategy be? Think about who comes to your page. And if you're like us and you have potential employees coming to your Facebook page, it might be a good idea to shift your strategy. Instead of just posting educational content, maybe you want to show a little bit more about who your company is. So I have Red Bull as an example here. They had a great use of Facebook apps in the past year. They use these apps to engage their followers on Facebook. They'll use them to announce events, invite followers, and play games, and they post a ton of videos to keep their followers entertained and providing them with a full brand experience. So when you're thinking about your Facebook post, you want to, as I have here, think creatively and talk about broader subjects to attract a larger audience. If you have a very specific product, maybe that product is valuable in a larger sense, and you want to talk about that larger subject area than just your specific product. You could also plan a fun contest, or do what Red Bull has done by using interactive apps to encourage interaction. You always want to make sure your social media presence aligns with your brand strategy. And that takes us to videos. These days, people are posting 75% more videos than they did a year ago. In September, Facebook said that the number of video views grew by 50% between May 2014 and July 2014. And that between June and September, people collectively averaged 1 billion views on Facebook each day. At the time, the company also said that 65% of those views were happening on smartphones and tablets, which is still the case months later. So in regards to this, Mark Zuckerberg said, the future is now. So if you aren't utilizing videos on your Facebook page, it's time. So here I have an example of 3 videos that Square 2 Marketing has posted. We like to take some of our blogs, or we'll take some of our other educational content, and we'll chop it up and put it into little bite-sized chunks that's easily to digest, and we'll post a video marketing minute that's quick, simple, easy. We don't use fancy video equipment or anything, and we've realized that our followers, they like to view these really short videos. So if you're looking to add value to your Facebook page, I would definitely recommend using videos since people clearly are utilizing them this year. I also want to mention EdgeRank, which is a fancy algorithm that Facebook has to determine the popularity of your post and if it's going to be seen in news feeds. We could get all jargony and get into the algorithm and everything, but what the real takeaway is for EdgeRank is to realize that having quality content over just quantity wins all the time. So you really want to think about what you're posting and what content you're sharing with your followers. Is it something that they want to receive? Is this something that will benefit them? Is it shareable? Those are all things you should be asking yourself before you craft the best Facebook post so that your EdgeRank is high and you end up at the top of someone's newsfeed. Okay, let's move on to Google+. So we all have Google+ accounts, and we know that Google is the king of everything, and us as marketers are always running around trying to figure out what changes Google's made to see what changes we have to make in our marketing plans. But I would like to take a step back and make sure that your company's Google+ page has been verified as a local business on Google, because this year, Google has created an infrastructure to enable businesses to easily appear on Google search, and so many businesses still haven't claimed their listings. I've gotten on strategy calls with clients before, and we're just going over the basics, and they didn't realize that they didn't claim their business. If you go to Google+ and search how to claim your business, it's really simple. You can do it online, or you can have them mail you a postcard. And basically, you're letting Google know, hey, this is where we exist. So then they can, you'll show up in search when people are looking for your company. Stars are going to be a huge deal this year with Google+. So once you have 5 reviews, the stars will be shown. And the star game will start to play out towards the end of 2015 with authentic reviews rising to the top. This is great for small businesses because now you have a chance to shine. SEO is very important, as we know, with Google+ and all other social accounts, but I think this is a great place to talk about your referral strategy. If you're looking for reviews on your Google+ account, it's great to ask your customers for them. At our agency, we have a practice what you preach and always learning and always teaching core values, and we are constantly asking our agency clients, you know, are you asking for referrals for your business? You should be doing that. So I would recommend verifying your business on Google, as simple as it sounds. This can really help you show up first in your search settings. Okay, Pinterest, this is my favorite. So if you only pay attention to one thing on this webinar, I recommend you pay attention to Pinterest, because this is just blowing up this year. And if you don't have a Pinterest account for your business, it's time to create one. So we can see here that with over 11 million unique monthly visitors, Pinterest became the fastest standalone website to eclipse the 10 million per month mark ever. So let's just think about that for a minute. You may think, oh, Pinterest is just for women, or it's for people to plan their weddings that don't exist, or for crafters or whatever. But the truth is, people are going to Pinterest to purchase. And if your business isn't there, you're missing out on a huge, huge amount of people that could be customers for you. So let's talk about our 3 steps that we need for Pinterest. They are convert, optimize, and review. First up is convert. Converting your Pinterest account to a business account is a great way to drive more traffic to your website. The simple switch can generate click-throughs to your site and help you expand your brand's reach. In the example below, Whole Foods gained 100,000 clicks from this pin and another 120,000 within their website. So you can see how they added a call to action, and they made it easy for their users to click through to get this recipe. Optimizing your pins for search. So you want to use relevant keywords and an engaging description to describe the image you're pinning. It sounds pretty straightforward, but you'd be surprised how many pins don't have relevant keywords or an engaging description. It's kind of a waste of a pin if you ask me. You want your pins to be at the top of the search, and a way to do that is by using the terms that people would type to find your pin. So you can see here, this is a pin from Square to Marketing's Pinterest account, and you can see it says here, the one question that propels your business to double-digit growth, and we have a couple of hashtags there. This is great for if people are looking for inbound marketing or businesses or human-to-human. So it's a best practice to make sure that you optimize your pins for search. Next up is reviewing Pinterest analytics. So a social site cannot work for you if you're not checking into the analytics. It should really be part of your daily social media review, is to check in to see how things are working so you can make edits as needed. So what you can do here is see what people love the most from your Pinterest profile and website, and how much traffic your site gets when you add the pin button. It's really easy to add a pin it button to any of your website pages, so when people see something they like, they can pin it to their Pinterest and sharing it with their followers. So you can also learn more about your audience. Explore new metrics about the people who engage with your business and what else they're into. See your audience's most common interests and what other businesses they follow, then tailor what pins you add based on that. This has been really helpful with us and our clients. Being able to see who follows you, you can get a really quick view into who they are and what they're about, which is great for developing your personas when you're working on your content marketing campaigns. Easily you can click to see who's following me and what other boards do they have, what other interests do they have. Do we have a common interest? And then you obviously want to play up that common interest. You also want to act on pin insights. Get advice on how to increase impressions, clicks, and repins so that you can refine your Pinterest strategy and reach more people. Pinterest gives you a lot of help within their analytics dashboard with recommendations as to what you can do to optimize your posts, whether it be changing a description or the hashtag you have or the time of day that you're posting. You definitely would be aware of how your pins are performing so that you can make edits as needed. Okay, so next up we have Twitter. So this year we're seeing a shift from people just using hashtags all over the place, which is really unnecessary, to people using these hashtags to draw their followers into a niche community where they can communicate based on that topic of the hashtag. So I have Fitbit here as an example. For those of you unfamiliar with Fitbit, it's a product that allows you to, it's like a bracelet that you can attach to yourself to count up the steps you take every day to help lead a healthy lifestyle. You can also compete with your friends. They have a really cool app. Here at Square 2 Marketing, a lot of us have Fitbits, and we compete every day to see who has the most steps. It's very fun. So as you can see here with the Fitbit Twitter posts, they not only have used hashtags the right way, but they've done something awesome, which is partnering with another company for more coverage, which is a win-win situation for everyone. So we can see here where they have hashtag Amazing Race, and they're asking their followers, you know, what do you think the average step count was for the Amazing Race? This puts them in front of the Amazing Race audience, which could be potential customers for them. So it's a really smart strategy to go with. And by asking a question, they're encouraging conversations to happen, which is obviously the point of social media, be social. At the bottom, we see the hashtag FitTip, which is really cool because if you want to follow hashtag FitTip, you're going to get tips all about Fitbit, which again puts you in a smaller community of people who are just looking for that specific area of information. And then at the top, we have hashtag Fitbit for AHA. They're running a contest with celebrities to see who has more steps, which is really fun for their followers because not only can they check out hashtag Fitbit for AHA, but if they're following Hunter Pence or Dee Gordon, you know, they have extra incentive to, you know, follow it and communicate about it. And, you know, if they're not already a customer, this could really bring them in to be a customer of Fitbit. So these are all ways that you can use your hashtag to bring you closer to your audience. And at Square 2 Marketing, we found that it's best to stick to one hashtag until you've built up brand recognition enough in your space that you can branch off and have more hashtags. So for example, at Square 2 Marketing, we use hashtag inbound marketing since we are an inbound marketing agency. So we want to show up first when you're searching that hashtag. You know, once that's dominated, then we can move on to having other hashtags. If we were having an event, for example, we could have a hashtag based off of that event, so everyone going to it can feel, again, like they're in a smaller niche community by searching just for that hashtag and communicating that way. We also recommend that for your daily Twitter posting that you share 70% of your own content and 30% of other content that you've found across the web. It really not only builds up your brand and recognition, but it builds you as a thought leader in your community. And by showcasing that, you know, it's not just your content that is the best, that you can relate to other companies, it puts you in front of their audience as well. So that's definitely a best practice. It's also a great tip to ask people to retweet and share your Twitter posts. We found in our testing that when you ask someone, please retweet this or share this with a friend, that people take that action. They're happy to do that. And again, increasing shares and increasing retweets broadens your reach on Twitter and again, increases your traffic to your website. So next up is LinkedIn. So here I have 3 examples of brands on LinkedIn that have really utilized some best practices. So on the left we have Dell, and by leveraging sponsored updates and its robust targeting capabilities, Dell is able to reach beyond their followers and share their valuable content with even more of their target audience. So it's a really great idea to use sponsored updates to really, you can geo-target, and you can target by job, by company size. There's so many parameters you can really search on within LinkedIn to create this sponsored content to reach the people that you need to reach. And next is Evernote on the top right. Evernote released a new feature, so they decided to pin that update to the top of their recent updates section. This ensures that the company page visitors see the exciting news. So if you have something that's going on with your company that you want to share and that's a really big deal, you have the ability to pin your post to the top of your page. That basically means that post is frozen at the top. So even if you were to post other things, it would show up below this post that you pinned to the top, similar to how they do it on Facebook. And this is a great idea because if people are coming to your company LinkedIn page, you want them to be able to see the most important news at the top. So if you have a new piece of content or you have an event that you're promoting, I would recommend having it at the top there so that as people are coming to see your page, they're able to see the information you want them to see first. And then lastly, we have Wells Fargo. And instead of sharing all their updates with all their followers, they target updates by location to deliver a more relevant and localized experience to their followers, which again, LinkedIn gives you the ability to target updates to make your content even more relevant. So it's great to take out an opportunity to really think about who your audience is. You're not casting a wide net and seeing how many fish you can catch. You're spearfishing. You're thinking strategically about how can I utilize this post to get it in front of the right people. So LinkedIn isn't just for posting on your company page, finding jobs, or just doing a general search. Last year, we saw an increase in company profiles leveraging their educational content and using sponsored updates to specifically target their prospects in pay-per-click campaigns. This year, we're seeing the sales team take it to the next level by utilizing their own networks with either personal contacts or groups to join. So we've actually utilized our sales team for LinkedIn in the past few months, and it's been really great to see the connections we've been able to make and the traffic we've been able to drive to our website. So we have utilized the posting blogs within LinkedIn. Now you're able to post specific blogs within LinkedIn, and we're doing that across the board. And I would totally recommend doing that because, again, you can have people that are following just your blog within LinkedIn, and it's great to have extra insight into that. You also want to share an update to the groups you belong to. This is where the sales team can come into play. These days, buyer behavior has changed, and we know that people are researching and becoming really well-versed in a subject area before they even come to purchase. So because we know that, it's a great idea to position yourself and your individual sales team as thought leaders. And you can do that by having them join the best groups they possibly can. So for example, you want to join where your prospects are located. So once you've identified who your prospects are, you want to join the LinkedIn groups that they're in. You can join 50 groups for free in LinkedIn, which is plenty to start with. So we found that sometimes with our clients, they'll join a whole bunch of groups that are their peers. So if they're a manufacturing and distribution company, they're joining other groups like that. And it's good to be in some groups with your peers, but if you're targeting your prospects, I would recommend being in other types of groups where they're located. And then have your sales team post an update to those groups and say, hey, check out this blog. Are you having trouble with XYZ? We've got the solution. Check this out. And they're not selling. They're not asking for a call. There's no phone numbers exchanged. They're really just positioning themselves and your brand as a thought leader. It's a great place to invite your connections to your next event. And again, building that trust and thought leadership. Next up is Instagram. So here's a great example on the left of Applebee's. They joined the user-generated content train and leveraged great diner photos for their #Fantographer campaign. And they urged customers to tag pictures for a chance to be featured on their account. They increased their followers by 32% and engagement by 25%, which is awesome. We all know that, when we think of Instagram, we think of people taking pictures of their breakfast, but Applebee's really did a great job here to bring it full circle, where they're asking people to post and include them in the Instagram post, and then choose a winner and post it on their own Instagram account. Again, it's drawing up a lot of buzz, it's increasing their followers and their engagement, and everybody likes to see their own picture on, another site such as Applebee's Instagram. So it was a really great best practice they had here. And Vogue, so on the right here we have Vogue's Instagram, which currently you can't just link to your product within an Instagram post, but what Vogue did was they used LikeToKnowIt.com and to create a seamless bridge between customers and brands, and it allowed people to view the photo in Instagram and then instantly purchase that product, which again, the less clicks you have between your follower and your product, the better. So at Square 2 Marketing, we use Instagram as a slice of life, again, similar to our Facebook. So we have a lot of followers that like to see what we're doing at the agency, what we're up to, if we have our pets in the office, if we're at a conference, and we like to follow other agencies like HubSpot to see what they're up to. And it's really great to be able to use an image to tell a story. And it's really quick and really easy. You don't have to have a long post. It doesn't take a long time to figure out what to write. And if you're thinking, is Instagram right for me this year or not, I would sit down and think about how many subscribers and how many potential clients and customers you could have that might be on Instagram, that might be looking for your product, and they can't find it because you're not there. All right, so I have a couple bonus tips here. We talk a lot about repurposing content these days and about how many times you should post your content. Since there's a content overload and your posts may get lost in people's news feeds, we recommend posting your content a couple of times across your social media channels. But instead of posting the same thing with the same blurb in the beginning, we recommend that you change it up a little bit. This also helps you understand your audience a little bit better and understand what their likes and dislikes are. So for example, if you have a blog that you want to share across your social media accounts, the way you share it should be different on each account. For example, on Facebook, you could share a video of a little breakdown of what your blog is about and why someone should read it and what they'll learn from it. On Twitter, you can ask them a question that you answer within your blog and then have a link to your blog that drives traffic back to your website. On Instagram, you can show a picture of it and drive people back to your website and use hashtags, so if they're searching for the topic of your blog, they find it. And on Pinterest, you can share the blog with an image with hashtags and an interesting description, so if they're searching for the topic of your blog, it shows up first. So those are just some examples of how you take one blog, repurpose the content by posting it multiple times across different sites. We recommend not posting the same thing on all your sites. Remember, people belong to these social sites for different reasons. I don't go to Twitter because I want to see the same things on Facebook. I want to see different things on different sites, and there's different people on different sites for a reason. So we recommend taking your piece of content and seeing which sites it best resonates on. Learn more about your followers. See what they like. Do they like videos on Facebook over just a straight content post on Google+? Then you know what to post in what places. I recommend posting something about 5 to 7 times to see kind of what the sweet spot is for your followers. A lot of times we test posting at different times of day to see when our followers are most active. And then lastly, we can try and create a SlideShare to enhance your blog post and build your visual brand. So for SlideShare, they offer an easy way to create an enhanced version of a blog post or repurpose a presentation. Building your visual brand across the web has proven to be a powerful piece of the branding puzzle. A great SlideShare can help showcase your expertise and build thought leadership. And again, it can be done simply by taking something that already exists and repurposing it in a different form by creating a video, by creating an infographic or a graphically designed image or a SlideShare. Okay, next up is, should I pay or should I go? So Erin Lee of Customer Delight says that budgeting for paid media will be more important than ever this year. The increasing competition to get content across will evolve paid media into another level as businesses try to satisfy consumers' thirst for good content. So that basically means that we're past the like collecting days. Simply having followers and people that share your content and a bunch of likes is just not going to cut it anymore. So it shouldn't be a question of, should I have paid social media? It should be how much. You definitely need it this year. The best way to control a potential reach and manage the segmentation is through paid media. These days, paid media leads to more conversions than organic traffic, so it's a good idea to really think about that. I would recommend looking into Facebook ads, LinkedIn sponsored updates, and promoted tweets, and seeing what your sweet spot is. What time of day do these people want these posts, and set a test budget to see. On LinkedIn, for example, sponsored updates, the pay-per-click normally starts around $4.50, and so it depends on what your daily budget is and how you've targeted your audience to see, how much you're going to pay for your click and how what your return is going to be. And there's tons of content out there for that. If anyone wants to discuss that further, feel free to email me. But definitely this year, you should budget for paid social media, because if you're just going along and counting on your numbers being good for organic, it's not going to cut it. So specialization is unavoidable. No one can be a Facebook expert, Twitter expert, Instagram expert, or Pinterest expert all at once. On top of that, the advertising options offered by each of these platforms are becoming so complex that mastering them requires an enormous amount of testing, experimenting, and learning. You can't do it all, well, let alone do it all well. So you have to make choices. So as a consequence, business owners and marketers will have to change the way they approach social media to be much more focused on the things that work for them while getting rid of the ones that don't. Will 2015 be the year you delete your Facebook page, remove your Instagram account, or stop Facebook advertising? Maybe. In order to do that, measure your results on social media and make sure you invest your time well. You have to take a step back. List the social media efforts that paid off in 2014 and the ones that didn't. Then make some hard decisions based on what you can measure. The only way to handle the growing complexity of the social media marketing world is to be selective. And you need the right data to make the right choices. Measure, report, edit. So there's a ton of statistics that you can take a look at to see how your social sites are performing and if you're reaching your goals. I just want to outline a few that I like to take a look at every day. So first, we have the total reach of all your social sites. This includes the total number of people across all sites who have connected with you and who have requested to be notified when you post fresh content. The total number of site visitors from social is the total number of visitors that stop by your website after finding you on any of the social sites. The total number of leads generated from people who found your site through social. This is the number of people who found your site via social, clicked through to it, and converted from an anonymous visitor to a lead by filling out a form on your website. The total number of sales opportunities from people who found your site through social. This is the number of people who started at a social site, landed on your website, and then converted on a bottom of the funnel offer, which resulted in an immediate sales opportunity. And then lastly is revenue generated. It sounds pretty self-explanatory, but in case it's not totally clear, it's the revenue you've generated from those social media efforts. Did you hit your goals for all of those things? So what's your next move? We've talked about how important it is for to have your social media strategy. I recommend sitting down quarterly with your team and planning out what your social media plan is going to be. This should really mirror your content planning schedule as well, since your content marketing is what fuels your social media strategy. So once you have your strategy set in place and you know these are the few sites we're going to focus on for 2015, you need to set your goals. Think about how much traffic you want to generate to your site. Think about how many reads you want for your content. And think about all those other metrics we talked about on the other pages. Then you want to create your content campaigns. Really think about who your users are. The goal here, and what will set you apart from your competitors, is by creating content campaigns that really speak to the pains that your social followers have. Then you want to stick to your posting schedule. We recommend using a software solution like HubSpot, which allows you to schedule out your social media posts. So you can do a mix between scheduled posts and posts that you make on the fly, which is great to have a mix like that because you don't want this to feel totally automated like a robot. Again, we're speaking to humans, so we have to make sure that we're always doing things the right way. Then you want to measure, report, and review like we just talked about. And if you're doing this every quarter, you're able to really not only understand what's working and what's not working so you can make edits, but it brings you closer to your followers that are growing every month, and allows you to edit your content accordingly so that you can better answer their questions and drive leads for your business. Okay, now we're in the question portion of this webinar. So I see some questions coming in. Let's see what we got. We have one question coming in. How do you create a hashtag to brand? So there's a bunch of different ways you can really create a hashtag. And like I said earlier, we like to stick with something that's super simple and easy for your brand. For example, you can use your brand name as your hashtag if you'd like that. However, it may not be your best option because unless people know that your brand and they're searching that term, they may not be looking at that and it wouldn't be a great idea. So for Square 2 Marketing, we use hashtag inbound marketing because we know that's our main area of expertise. We want people that are searching inbound marketing. We want them to recognize us as a thought leader in that area and understand that we're the obvious choice to do business with. So for hashtags, I would pick one and stick with it based on what your product or service is and what area you're in. Okay, we've got a lot of questions coming in. Let's see, we've got okay, LinkedIn sponsored updates and targeting updates for relevancy. Both of these features you have to pay for. That's correct. Sponsored updates we've found have performed better than LinkedIn ads. An ad shows up in the sidebar of your LinkedIn, and we found that anything in the sidebar is really, really easy to ignore. I mean, think about it. If you click on a Zappos ad, it's going to follow you around all day, and it's really easy to ignore in the sidebar. However, a sponsored update shows up in your news feed, which is in your main feed area of LinkedIn. So we recommend sponsored updates over LinkedIn ads, but you do have to pay for those, and it's a pay-per-click model. You can pay per click or you can pay per impression. We recommend paying per click. Right now it's around $4. So what you want to do is make sure you have your campaign strategy really figured out and really understand who your persona and your target market is, because you want to be able to utilize that sponsored update the best way you possibly can. For example, we ran a LinkedIn sponsored update last week for our Inbound Marketing Week event happening next Wednesday, and we specifically geo-targeted it to people that are in the location of our event. Not only that, but their job title, the company they're at, everything. So you really can drill it down and really get the best bang for your buck, but it can become costly. It just depends on what your daily budget is. Okay, so we have here, what measurement tools do you suggest using to get data and results? Great question. We are HubSpot users here at Square 2 Marketing, and I recommend using them to look into your data and results. What's really cool about HubSpot is it allows you to really track anything you want. You can also schedule your posts out, but they have a wonderful reporting view and an analytics view that allows me to see exactly what's happening for every portion of my campaign. It's completely straightforward. If you'd like a demo of HubSpot, I'm happy to give you some insight into that. Just feel free to email me. And then next I have, how often do I post on my different social media accounts? Great question. So it really depends on what your goals are as to how many times you post. So I would recommend at the very least posting 1 time a day on all of your accounts. And you can make it easier by using a marketing automation tool like HubSpot, where you can schedule out your posts. For example, we use HubSpot to push out our blog that we post every day, and it goes out on all of our social sites. Now that's good, but that's just not going to cut it in today's world since there's content overload and our posts could easily get lost in someone's feed. So we post multiple times a day. I would recommend between 7 and 10 times a day for Twitter, 1 or 2 times a day for LinkedIn and Facebook and Google+. Pinterest can be a handful of times a day, and what else? Instagram, 1 time a day is probably pretty good, or a little less than that. So you really just want to start somewhere, and then don't bite off more than you can chew, and then start to slowly increase your posting. And you'll realize what people like and what they don't like, and if you're starting to get a lot of conversations about one topic area, then post more about that topic area. Can you own a hashtag? So you can sponsor hashtags. If you've ever seen in the Twitter feed, it'll show a popular hashtag, like maybe hashtag Doritos, and it says sponsored. So they've sponsored that hashtag in the hopes that they can drive a lot of traffic to their website. It's something I usually see huge brands doing, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Doritos. We haven't really played around with that a whole lot with any of our clients or anyone that's in a medium, large size business. But you do have the ability to sponsor a hashtag. Okay, how do you measure if your social media program is a success? Another great question. So there's a lot of different ways to measure if your social media marketing is a success. But in order to be able to do that, you need to first set your goals. So if you set goals for your social reach, your site visitors, the leads of people who found your site through social, your different number of sales opportunities from people who found your site, if you're tracking those on the front end and you're setting a goal for the end of the month, then you're able to see whether your program is successful or not. If you're spinning your wheels and you've got a social media plan set for Twitter and you're just posting away and you're doing everything you need to do and nothing is happening, then it's time to reevaluate and see, is this successful? No. Why is it not successful? And then you should ask yourself, where are our prospects? If they're not on this social media site, then there's no point in being there. I would recommend doubling down your time and effort on a social site that's performing really well, because obviously that's showcasing that your prospects are there. And we have another question. Other than your own blogs, what content would you recommend posting? We are HubSpot partners. Is it a good idea to share other partners' content? Well, hello there, HubSpot partners. I would recommend, beyond posting your own blog, of your own content, I would recommend any of your other educational offers. If you have an ebook, a white paper, a tip sheet, an infographic, a slide share, a video, if you have anything else that you've created that's educational, definitely post that on your own social sites. I think it's a good idea to share other partners' content because you're building relationships with them, you are putting yourself in front of their audience, perhaps their followers, might look to you for some thought leadership. You might gain followers that way. It's really not a bad thing. We get that question a lot, like, do we really want to share other HubSpot partners' content because isn't that competition? And really it's not. All the agencies have such different strengths that we really haven't run into any issues with that. And I think it's always a good idea to share other thought leaders because it shows that you know who the thought leaders are out there and in position to you as amongst that other group. Any other questions? All right, we have one last question, and it is, how much time per day should I spend on social media? That is the magical question of the hour, let me tell you. It really depends. If you spend 10 minutes a day on social media and then increase it from there, you're going to see an awesome return on your time, because social media is a great place to start the conversation with people who don't know anything about you. I challenged my colleagues here at Square 2 Marketing to spend 10 minutes a day on Twitter, just reading things, liking things, retweeting things, and seeing, what results came of that, and it was awesome. Everyone said, oh, we don't even have 10 minutes, but they do have 10 minutes. And so if you create a strategy on the front end for your social media and you have your content calendar mapped out and you know exactly what you're doing, you'll be able to better judge how much time you need to spend on social media. Some days I can spend the entire day in social media and I look up at the clock and go, where did the time go? Because there's just so much going on in there. So it's a good idea to really set parameters. But I think between 10 and 30 minutes a day, you should really be able to get a lot done as far as reading other content, sharing it with your followers, saying, hey, followers, I love this. I think you'll love this. It solves this problem. Here's what you'll learn from it. And then also posting your own stuff to say, hey, we wrote this for you. We know that you'll benefit from it. All right, so that's all I have today. I would like to offer you a complimentary 30-minute one-on-one social media session. This is not a sales pitch. Let me repeat that. This is not a sales pitch. If you're interested in talking about your social media, so are we. I'm kind of obsessed about it. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to be sending out an email to all of you after this if you're interested in the slides and the recording. And if you're interested in having a one-on-one to really dive into your social media and see what you can do better, we're happy to talk to you. We also would like to offer you a free ticket to Inbound Day. It's next Wednesday, and we have 3 events, one in London, one in Milwaukee, and one in Philly. So I'll send you information about that. And we're conducting a inbound marketing workshop where you can learn more about your strategy and creating an inbound marketing strategy and really learn how to drive leads and convert leads for your business. It's going to be a great time. We've got a lot of people going, and it should be really fun. And then also I would like to offer you, if you're not already subscribed to Inbound, the magazine, this month's issue is all about social media. We've got some really great articles. You can see the cover here. Really interesting stuff, and I think you could really benefit from it. So I'm happy to send you the magazine as well. Just let me know in the email. And I think that's all the time we have for today. So I thank you for joining us. And if you're looking for more, next month our webinar will be on inbound sales, and we'll be diving in and showing the correlation between inbound marketing and how inbound sales takes over to close deals. So you can check us out next month. Thanks everybody for joining. Have a great day.